Feeling like a failure as a parent is not uncommon. You are not alone. Feeling guilty as a parent is actually normal. It's the secret guilt parents hardly talk about. No matter how much you love your children, being a parent can make you feel bad. Every parent has felt like a failure at some point or another. We tend to be so hard on ourselves, never giving us any credit, but we are always quick to point out our own shortcomings. All the things we did wrong or all the ways that we could be better. Constantly comparing ourselves to other parents. Looking at social media wondering why we can't be as good as them. But why is that? Why do we beat ourselves up? Why do we live in constant guilt? Why do we feel so down on ourselves? Why do we hardly feel like we're good enough? The first, and perhaps most important, thing to remember about parental guilt is that, at some point, every parent will experience it. People feel guilt when their actions or thoughts don't match their standards for themselves. It is considered a moral emotion that helps us regulate our interactions with others. Guilt can be useful when it enables us to be self-reflective and to pay attention to others' emotions. When a person feels guilty, they experience an increased activation of brain areas involved with taking another person's perspective and being empathic. As a result, guilt often motivates people to make amends. However, guilt can be a harmful emotion, especially because not everyone who feels guilty takes action to decrease their guilt. When people feel guilty, they are likely first to withdraw from the situation. Guilt has been described as a way to punish oneself. Balancing a career and a family is a great source of guilt for both men and women. Research has also shown that women and men can feel a sense of guilt and failure about having lowered levels of libido and subsequent intimacy with their partners following childbirth. An annual checkup with the pediatrician can be another source of guilt for parents, especially if they find out that their child may be at health risks. Then, as children grow and other siblings come along, parents can feel guilty about favoring one child over the other. Discipline is another common source of guilt. Parents will often say they feel guilty about being too lenient with their children and caving in. They can feel equally guilty about becoming aggravated and resorting to yelling or spanking. Being in a relationship or a marriage is not easy. Guilt may come from issues you are having in your own romantic life. Feeling like you may be exposing your children to your problems. Then there's techno guilt, worrying about phone use and screen time. Also feeling guilty for using phones and tablets as a form to distract your kids. Maybe it's guilt stemming from your own phone usage which you might feel is preventing you from being in the moment. Here are 5 ways to cope with parental guilt. But before we dive in, please don't forget to subscribe for more positive parenting. Remember, parental guilt is normal. The next time you're feeling like the worst parent in the world, remember every parent feels like that at times. Sometimes, simply reminding yourself of that can be enough to get you through the day. After all, people are not posting their failures on social media. We tend to only post the positive highlights in our lives and we leave out all the bad stuff. Everyone does it, so remember that next time you compare yourself to that perfect parent. Let go of perfection. Having realistic expectations of yourself and your children can make a big difference. At the end of a long day, dealing with a toddler who refuses to go to bed will never be easy. Be realistic about your capacity to solve every problem effortlessly and without stress. It's not always possible. Nobody's perfect. Not you, and not your kids. And that's okay. Channel your thoughts and feelings into action. Guilt can weigh you down and hold you back, or it can be the start of a change for the better. While guilt can be harmful, it's also associated with positive traits, such as being more empathetic. Let the knowledge that guilt is linked to a desire to do something differently motivate you to change what's making you feel guilty. Listen to this feeling and act on it. Try not to withdraw yourself from your partner or your children. Remember that every day is a new opportunity to start anew. Seek out reliable, evidence-informed parenting advice. Unfortunately, sometimes going to family and friends may make you feel worse. Look for programs that have evidence of their effectiveness, including evidence of scientific success in actually resolving the issue at hand. And consider what form of help suits you best. Are you looking for resources online, in a group setting, or one-on-one in person? Perhaps exploring therapy can serve helpful. Remember, you are not alone in feeling this way. There are millions of parents out there in search of help. Create a network of encouragement with other parents. It might be a good idea to distance yourself from things and people that make you feel worse about yourself. When you're feeling guilty, the last thing you want to do is surround yourself with people who make you feel more guilty. Although they might have good intentions and simply are offering their unsolicited advice, it's important to surround yourself with people who encourage you and make you feel good about yourself. You can build your own network of encouragement with other parents. Share your stories, not just the highs, which are natural to want to talk up, but also the lows, and offer positive feedback. It's important to know that your feelings are valid, and that you're feeling this way because you care and you love your children. You want to give them the best version of yourself, and sometimes that leads us to feel inadequate as a parent, which creates these feelings of guilt. Being a parent is the most challenging job. Remember that feeling guilty is a normal part of being a parent and that you are not alone in feeling this way. There is no such thing as a perfect parent. Just parents who love their kids and are trying to do their best with the life they were given. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more positive parenting.